All right, I don't know about all of you, but life has been a lot recently. And I find one of two things. Either if life's a lot, I want a makeup moment where I can just sit, have my calming Zen makeup application moment, play date, have fun with all the things, or I just want quick, easy, reliable, get me out the door quick. And honestly, that second version is really what I've been into lately, more so because there just hasn't been a lot of time. So I thought what I would do is sit down with all of you today, have a little chit chat, maybe a little bit of a life update, but also just share with you the things that I have been wearing pretty much day in, day out. So I don't necessarily want to say that this is a favorites video because I'm really specifically focusing on just a few products that I just can't stop using. But it's really a, hey, this is what I am using to make myself feel good with a minimal amount of time, and I know that they never let me down. Hopefully that sounds good to you. If we haven't met before, my name is Kelly, and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, we're gonna zoom in. We might as well just do this here and now, y'all. So I feel like for the most part, my skin has actually been doing really well. I feel like I'm a little bit high. Hold on, zooming in, lowering the chair. Y'all, I need a new chair. Can I just say that this one is on its last legs? That's besides the point. Anyway, so I feel like my skin has been doing pretty well recently. Like even I went through my cycle and through PMS, I only got a couple breakouts. With all the stress given, I don't know. I don't know how my skin is doing so well. I've pretty much been able to fade the melasma that was starting to pop back out again. Just a smidge there. So what that means is I've just been doing light skin, like light coverage with a pop of color and just the things that I know that wear beautifully all day long. So I hope you are ready for that. All right, I recently used this in a makeup playdate. Urban Decay sent over the Face Bond foundation. Now in the try on that I did, I talked about a couple different ways that I used it. So I think in that video, I used it straight. I did not add anything to it. At that time, it was too light for me because I had just gotten back from vacation. But what I am finding that I absolutely love using this as is something to tint a moisturizer. So today, because I'm trying to use it up, y'all, we're gonna go through with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. You can use any somewhat thin, watery moisturizer. You know, don't use anything that's like too heavy or almost oily because it probably won't mix well with this, but you can use anything. Now, the reason that I think that this works is because this is listed as a 24-hour waterproof, mega, you know, like super long wear foundation. So I find that it makes the perfect long wear tinted moisturizer, if you will. So I am gonna show you, I'm gonna use 2 pumps of this so you can see there. And then I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit of this in. So by the way, I'm using shade 13, light medium, cool olive. Can you see in there? It's really not a lot. You could obviously use a little bit more. I am somewhat freshly moisturized and I do also have my vitamin C serum on. So we're really just making a thin, kind of like watery tinted moisturizer. The reason that I like this Face Bond for this little cocktail is because it does have a satin skin finish leaning towards matte. Like it's not chalky, it's not super dry looking, it's more that lovely skin finish that I like. Because you might be like, Kelly, why aren't you just using, let's say, the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin? Because that definitely has more of a satin to glowy finish. I want something that has a bit more of a low sheen finish so that it is long wearing, because I have definitely been having some long days and I find that this wears beautifully. In fact, let's see, the other day, I probably got ready at like 7 a.m. and I was getting together with a couple friends for dinner at 7:30ish p.m. And I literally did not do anything. I rushed home. I rushed home and was able to pop on a bit of powder right here and like maybe on my nose because I'm still kind of like suffering from my cold and allergies, which by the way is the other reason that I haven't wanted anything with much coverage, because 2 hours into my day, whatever was on my nose would be gone anyway because I've been blowing my nose so much. and I don't want to look like starkly different. But anyway, so, you know, I came home, I powdered my forehead, powdered my nose, and went to dinner. And my friend was like, your skin is looking so great. Like, did you switch foundations? And so I was kind of like, well, technically no. Like, I'm never like a one foundation girl. I usually have like 4 or 5, you know me. But I was like, I've just been really using a long wear foundation mixed in with moisturizer just to kind of sheer it out. So can you see that finish? And again, we are talking very, very light coverage, but it just gives me enough. It gives me enough to feel pretty confident. And then once I've got that like soft finish, then I go in with a concealer. So I'm of course going to use the Haus Labs. Today we're using 10 Light Golden, and I'm using this to brighten up my under eye, also to get rid of any discoloration on my eyelid. Today I am going to put a little bit down my nose. I haven't been, just because it would have made 0 sense, because it would have been wiped off like literally a half an hour later when I had to blow my nose. And I'm just going to cover up that one breakout. Maybe we'll go right here too. I honestly I've not been worrying about breakouts. Like, I don't care. They're there. I feel like for the most part, I am just to the point where I'm just not caring. And not that I don't care about the way that I look. It's just like, I don't care if people know that I have a breakout. Like, it happens to almost all of us. And at this point, I'm like, the time that it takes to really cover something where it's going to last all day, I just don't feel like doing that. And I don't mind if that means that someone's going to see hyperpigmentation on my skin. It's just not a thing. Okay, so I'm going through, of course, with the BK Beauty A506. Really been enjoying this one again. And we're just going to blend this up. So as I'm blending out my concealer here, I did just put in my Lumify. So the scary red eyes should be gone soon. That's the other thing. Gotta have my Lumify in. But honestly, you know, I haven't really talked much about it, and I really can't go into it too much because none of it is really my story to tell. But I feel like Jeremy and I have just been hit hard with a lot of life stuff in the last few months. And from, you know, family stuff going on, it's just really been a lot, and long days and stress and worry and, you know, ups and downs of emotions, and not really having much time. One of the big things, through things that are going on, Jeremy and I have found ourselves long-term foster parents to an adorable pit bull puppy. So we now have Jet, and I will probably find some footage. I will probably at some point maybe bring him on here just to say hi, but we have had Jet since before we went on vacation, and it was sort of a last minute thing. We got him about, I would say maybe like 8 days before we were going on vacation. And as you can imagine, for those of you that know, we have not had a dog for 2+ years. Our very sweet bulldog, Bug, she passed away, and she was an elderly dog. You know, arthritic, moving slow, and we did not have a baby-proofed house. We did not have the whereabouts to deal with a very, very energetic. So we don't know for sure how old Jet is, but we think he is probably, the vet thought he was between 1 year and 16, 18 months old. Let me tell you, big puppy energy, big puppy energy. I'm just gonna go through with my Hourglass Veil Powder to set my under eye and down where I put any other concealer. You know that I love this powder. Y'all, I am working through this. It is now hard to get any powder out, which means I'm definitely getting there. So we're just gonna quickly pop this over those areas. But so we very quickly found ourselves needing to baby-proof the house, puppy-proof the house, including the backyard. And then we were going away. And Jet's been through a lot in his life, and, you know, to have to be relocated so soon, we didn't want him to have to go to boarding. We didn't want to have to send him to someone else's house. We've had this boy for maybe 2 weeks, and we just didn't want to disrupt that again. So It was a big scramble. It's been a lot of stress. He's wonderful. He's very, very high energy. He is really into jumping when he's excited, and he's a chewer. Big time chewer. So, and that's just like the iceberg of this whole situation. So it's really been a lot, but finding ourselves puppy parents again all of a sudden, it makes for not really having much time. And for all of you dog parents, you know, it's like, oh, okay, well now I'm back to having to let a dog out in the morning, make sure one of us is home soon enough to let him out. We keep him gated off into one area of the house when we're not here. You know, just all the things. And he is such an active pup that we absolutely have to get him out, run him, you know, keep him entertained, burn some energy off, or things get weird. Things get weird at night. So it's been a lifestyle change, I would say. One that I think in the long run will be very good. You know, I am definitely looking for a reason to have to get out, walk more, do all the things. But when it is like thrust upon you, especially, you know, Jeremy and I as business owners, we don't really get vacations. We get displacement of work, right? I can't, you know, it's not like someone is taking care of my clients while I'm gone. I mean, I do have a single private studio, so I guess if I had like a multi-chair salon, that might be different. But, you know, Jeremy's clients, I mean, his son was here and was able to do some of the work while we were gone, but it's just not the same. And there's always still work, you know, just business work that just has to be done. So we came back to a lot on top of a lot. I'm going to use this Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. I have to say I've kind of been going in between brow waxes. I do like that one just because it's really pretty goof proof. It doesn't get white and flaky. It's fluffy. It's not overly strong, but the fluff and thickness that it gives, I'm okay with that. I'm going to just do my brows really quickly, go through with the Glossier Brow Flick, and then do this Fluff Up Brow Wax. I'll probably like zoom through this and just show you a couple seconds of it in case you're curious how I do this. But that's really what I've been doing because of light makeup. I want very, you know, not try hard brows. So we're just going to go through and give a little shape. Now this is my trouble brow. So I have quite the bald spot right here. So I do like to add a couple little extra hairs. Sometimes I'll even go through with some brow powder just to dull down the skin look, you know what I mean? But we're not doing that today. So hopefully you can see, even though this patch is more sparse, I have just a bit of definition. And then what I do is I go through and just add in the brow wax, and I usually go backwards first to make sure to coat the underside. That just helps me feel like they're a little bit thicker, but it also helps everything stay in place more because, you know, there's just more coverage. So then what I do is I will swoop these up, and I'm careful not to disturb the strokes that I put in, so I try not to go like all the way down to the skin. And what I'll do, now I can see a couple spots that I'm missing a couple strokes, and what I'll do is come back to that after I do the rest of my makeup and this brow wax has sort of like dried down a little bit, and just do any detailing. Oh, the other key to doing something like this and having it look soft is, first of all, you want to make sure, like usually when I first get in here, I take my pen and I tip it upside down up against something just to be able to like make sure that the liquid gets all the way down. But then I always make sure to start at the point of my brows that need the most filling in, because that's when this tip is going to be most liquid filled. I don't go in right at the front where I want those strokes to be really soft, because the tip is so saturated, it's just going to like make very strong strokes. So just a little tip. And I think that's honestly with any brow pen. I did just order, well, I decided not to do it. I did a fake order, loaded my cart for Ulta, and then I was like, I don't need any of this right now. I am going to try the NYX one at some point. Let me know if you love a good brow pen. What is your favorite? The Glossier one is still my favorite, but it's like twice the price of the NYX one. Okay, I had to take a phone call, so by the time that was done, the brow wax had pretty much set, so I did go through in detail. I have to say, I wish that Glossier had like one more shade in between the brown and the one that's lighter than the brown. because I would like this to be just a little lighter. That's one nice thing about the NYX is they have quite a few options. At any rate, I am digressing. So yeah, puppy parenting has been quite a bit. You know, like I said, Jet is great, but he is a handful. It's been hard because we need to take the time to train him, but we've also been so busy. Actually, just last night, I started looking into maybe some obedience classes or even just like a couple hours of private training. I'm going through with the RMS Beauty Malibu Muse bronzer. I think I want to get the next shade down as far as like depth, because this one I do have to, again, I know I said this before, but I do have to build this one up a bit. But the finish of it is just so pretty, and honestly, it is so foolproof, and that's why I've been reaching for this one a lot, because I was like, you know what, I can put a little on, I can put a lot on, and it still looks great, and it doesn't look like too try hard. I also have been using this just to run through my crease for some dimension, and it just has such a pretty soft satin-like finish that it works really great. And we're gonna put a cream over the top of this, and I found that they layer really great. So it's just been a love of mine. So this has definitely been the bronzer that I've been reaching for. And you can see, I mean, I definitely got some color, right? Like, and I've really just been doing kind of like the perimeter, not so much trying to sculpt with this. I think it's too warm to be able to do that anyway. You know, this is definitely a bronzing powder. It's not a contour, but it does just make me feel like a little bit alive. So yeah, I was talking about the private classes. So I was telling Jeremy, you know, he's like, we know how to do this. Like, I've raised a puppy, and first of all, YouTube has been super helpful, but Jet just has a different temperament. And I told him, I said, yes, we can, but I'm almost feeling like a couple hours of private session is almost like going to a personal trainer and being like, hey, let's get a weight program set up. You can watch me and let me know what I'm doing wrong. Like, help me get the proper form, and then we can do it at home. You know, like, I don't always need the personal trainer there, but it's nice to have them to help me see the error of my ways, because I'm sure a lot of it is what we are not doing enough of, or what we're doing wrong. Like, that's usually the case in puppy training. Okay, so now we're gonna go through with, this one was in my favorites last month, and I didn't apply it in that video. I wasn't wearing it in that video, and I just have to prove to everybody how amazing this is. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Flush Balm in Bellini. I love this. I love all my shades, but this one just through spring and into summer is so pretty. I am going to do a very light amount just to show you, you know, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Like, you see this and you're like, oh my God, that is sort of like highlighter peach color, but it doesn't have to be. I've really still been using the BK Beauty 109. By the way, I will have all of these things linked down below. I do have a discount code with BK Beauty, so if you do want to try this, you can save with KEEPBEAUTYREAL. But I really just go in and first very lightly dock the brush. And I was telling someone, you know, if you're worried about getting too much, you can always work the product into the bristles on your hand before putting it on your face, but you just really need to use like a light hand when you're picking it up from the pan. If it's a new pan, I always recommend just taking your finger and kind of like warming up the product to kind of like break a seal if there is one at all. And then that way, you know, you can go in and just get a light amount of product. You're not feeling like you need to use the brush to dig through that. And then all of a sudden you do, and then you've got like 4 days worth of blush on your brush. So bright, but soft. Does that make sense? And I love the finish of this. You know, you get a little bit of a satin soft glow from the Redimension Hydro Bronzer. This is satin, I would say. I think Danessa says they're matte, but to me, matte is a little bit more flat. It has a skin finish to it. It doesn't have any glow, and that's part of why I love this, because if I had any texture, if I had dry patches, anything like that, this does not show it. It also lasts all day long, all day long. I still have blush at the end of the day, and for me right now, this is what I want. I want a pop of color on the cheeks. I want people to feel like I am still alive, even though some mornings when I wake up, I feel like I'm not. Okay, so now we're gonna go through with a product that I always liked this from the beginning, but I think it is really underrated. And now that I've been pulling it out and using it more, it is so amazing. The RMS Beauty Redimension Hydro Dew Luminizer in Prosecco Fizz. I would love for them to come out with a more pinky leaning version of this. So I'm gonna actually use this to do my inner corner and highlight my Cupid's bow, and probably my brow bone too. Like, you know, first of all, 90s everything is coming back, so let's go ahead and do a little brow bone highlight. But the thing that I like about this is that while it can be built up to a beautiful, I mean, it's not gonna be like crazy high finish, but it can be built up to pretty bright. You can also wear it very soft. So if I want to do this under the brow bone, I can, you know, kind of put this on, blend it out, and it doesn't look, it looks like light is hitting my face, but it doesn't look like I just put megawatt highlighter on my brow bone, you know? And I think that this just kind of like lifts the face a little bit, and that is really what I need. So, oh, I didn't put the bronzer in my crease. Oh well, we'll go back and do that. So now I'm gonna take a brush and go through and add this to the top of the cheekbones. Let's go ahead and take the Spectrum KJH 08 brush. I'm just gonna really tap this in very lightly and just pop it on the cheeks. Now this one, depending on the brush that you use, it can get kind of intense. For me, for a powder highlighter. So I do like using something that's a little bit softer bristled, a little bit less dense, and then that way I can choose how much I'm putting on. You know, it's not like, got it on, now I need to blend it out. It's like, oh, okay, I can very easily just kind of like soften this. I mean, it just looks like hydrated skin. I probably could have used this brush on the brow, but I didn't. But I am going to use it on my Cupid's voice since I forgot. I have definitely found that the Invisalign has made my lips slightly different shaped. You know, it does push them out a little bit more. And so it's been really interesting because I'm like, these aren't my lips. So a little bit of highlight there. Now it is pretty hard to not get that onto my lip line. And you know me, I like a good Cupid's bow. So what I'm gonna do is just take some Bioderma and clean that off. Just, I want my full lip line showing. Now let's go back through with Malibu Muse. I totally just forgot to do it, but I'm gonna grab the BK Beauty 201. I will say with the texture of this bronzer, if you want higher impact with this color, you could use a brush that has a little bit more, you know, oomph to the bristle. Like if you are into using real hair brushes, you could use something that's got just that little bit more pickup, but this actually is working pretty good. So it's just such a flattering shade. It's not too warm. It's not too rosy. It's just kind of like a good, healthy color. And honestly, I have done it where I sweep this all over the lid and call it a day. I've done it where I just add it to the crease like this and call that a day. We are gonna add a bit of a pop of shadow to this, but because I used concealer to sort of like cancel out, you know, the veins and the discoloration I have, I could leave it like this and it just kind of looks like I have a matte shadow on because I did powder my eyelids, but we're not gonna leave it quite here. A lot of days I have, or then I would even, when I went through and do the inner corner with that RMS highlighter, I would just like pop a little on the lid with my finger, but that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab a Sydney Grace cream shadow because you know that those make me happy. Now, of course, there are so many beautiful Sydney Grace cream shadows that I could use here, but I'm actually gonna go through with Starstruck. So this is it's just a perfect blend between like champagne and, I mean, almost a little bit rose goldy, but more champagne. Now, this is one of the formulas that has the bigger flecks of mica, if you can see that, hopefully. These ones aren't my tippy top favorite formula, but I really, really love this shade so much that I sort of, you know, kind of like look past that, just because this shade is just that perfect, like goes with everything. I don't have to worry about if it's gonna match my outfit, anything like that. So this works really well. Now, I am just gonna focus this more on the lid and kind of blend it out to be a bit more ethereal. So that means with these, you don't really need a lot. So I'm gonna see if I can like get this. That is going to be enough for the whole eye. So I'm going to focus on the center, and then we'll blend out either way. Now, these have a pretty good amount of dry time, but I do find that the ones with the mica dry down just a little bit faster. Oh, all right. This brush must have had something kind of like lavendery on it at some point, because all of a sudden I was like, why is this color coming up lavender? So I just like wiped off my inner corner a little bit. So we're gonna go back in with a little more. But these flecky colors, they do dry just a bit quicker. So I like to go through, you know, not mess around too much. Now I'm just looking to lay this down with one side, and then I take the other side and just kind of like smooth it out, blend it up just a little bit. And so it just gives a little bit of extra sparkle to the look. And the nice thing about this is these last for me all day long. Like, what was it? I had a friend, I was on Marco Polo, and I was talking to a friend at the end of the day, and they were like, oh, what eyeshadow palette are you wearing? And I was like, oh, I'm not wearing an eyeshadow palette. I have on the Malibu Muse bronzer from RMS, and then I had on one Sydney Gray shade. It was actually the shade Never Ending, in case you have it from a mystery bag. I think it is actually one that was only available in a mystery bag, but it was kind of like a stone kind of grayish color, and it totally just made this beautiful like smoky situation, but so quickly. And I was like, look at this, no creasing, and it's been like a million hours. So I just really love these. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a tiny bit more. Like I said, you know, some days I'll throw on a cream shadow like this. Some days I'll just use the highlighter, and some days I won't do anything at all. Just the bronzer has been enough. But I just have needed like easy, quick, light makeup, you know, that makes me feel put together, especially, you know, with what I do. I just feel more confident being in the beauty industry and just feeling like I've done a little bit of something to myself. That doesn't mean if you are in the industry and you don't like wearing a lick of makeup, that's totally fine. That's my personal preference, but I just find that it makes me feel put together for my day, and hopefully helps, you know, people who are coming to see me, it exudes a bit of confidence. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'm gonna go through with a little bit of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. I have dim light. I feel like as I'm getting into summer, I'm gonna have to switch into my deeper shade, but y'all know this is another one in my like use it up for the year. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take this and put this all over. And I'm really just using this to kind of like give like a nice healthy sheen to the skin. And it just kind of blends everything together. Not that we, you know, really have any harsh lines. But it just does just a little bit. It's like the je ne sais quoi. I used to wear this every single day. I mean, a long time ago. And I always got the most compliments, like, oh my gosh, your skin just looks so radiant and pretty. And then I kind of got away from it. And I was like, you know what? I sort of miss that. I miss that radiance that isn't overly dewy, especially going into summer. I don't know what it is about people wanting wet skin when we're gonna go outside into the humidity and it's gonna slide all over the place. I want to have radiance that is going to fool everyone and it's gonna last a really long time. And that's exactly what this does. Now, I could choose to go through and use a setting spray, but I just don't really find that I've needed one with this. It's been lasting all day. I absolutely could. Also, I'm a little bit lazy right now because I just used up my all-nighter, and the drawer down there with all of my like backup stuff is also where I keep my giveaway pile. And yes, I am still planning on doing my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. It's just with everything that's been going on, I just haven't had the time to organize and get all of that together. And I've had other videos that I've had to prioritize. So hang tight, it's coming. But since it's in there, it's gonna be like a bad game of Jenga trying to get a new spray out. Not gonna lie. All right, so now I'm just gonna pop on some mascara quick. You know that I love the Hourglass Unlocked Extensions mascara. This is a tubing mascara, and to be honest, I realized a few days ago that I had pre-purchased some facials when the spa that I go to was having an amazing 50% off deal. And I'm like, I think those are all expiring. Like, you have a year, but I haven't done it. So I booked one. I've got that later today. So I'm just gonna be washing this off later today, and I just want a mascara that's gonna be easy to come off. But I like how defining, lengthening this mascara is. It lasts all day. So I'm gonna throw this on and I'll be right back. As I'm throwing this on, I can tell that I have been lazy in my lash serum usage, because my lashes are not living their best life. I gotta get better on that. You know, like, it's those things that, honestly, y'all, I've just been so tired. I've been so tired that, like, I'm lucky to get my makeup off, to get like one serum or active on my face, moisturizer, and to just like get into bed. It's just, there's just been a lot. So I'm like, oh, lashes, where did you go? Have to get into that. Okay, so I'm just finishing this up. I just love this. And it comes off so easily. I think the reason that I like this one the most out of what I've used is because it's almost like slightly buildable, you know? Like, it's not, I mean, and I don't personally think that tubing mascaras are very buildable, but this one has that little bit of possibility where you just get a little bit more. Okay, defined, I'm good. I'm good with that. Yeah, so if you've noticed that I haven't really had many videos up, a big part of that is we've just had a lot going on, and it just has to take a back burner right now. And honestly, I'm sort of struggling with the whole YouTube thing just in general right now, because it takes a lot of time. And I know that creators say this, and it's like, people just don't realize how much time it does take. And I have to find some time to be able to put myself first for my health right now. I have to do it and like try to find ways to be more active. Also, I got to get that dog out of the house so he's not so crazy at night. So it's like, if I'm spending 2 days a week filming and editing, that's time that I could be, you know, splitting up and using in other ways. And so I'm just trying to find that balance. And honestly, like, I would love to know what type of content you are all looking to see, because I am just sort of over buying a lot of new makeup. Well, and it's funny because I haven't put on lipstick yet, because I have 2 of the new Balm Embrace from Lisa Eldridge. So I am going to be doing a try-on video separate from this, and that video will be up before this one. So if you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and check it out. It's very rare anymore that I'm finding anything that I want to spend my money on. Like, I just have been feeling kind of and a lot of it is when I did my declutters and organization, and I'm like, I have so many great things. I have so many great things. And I have a lot of other things that I want to spend my money on. And you know, the less I buy, the more I can do. And that is just something that I'm finding out in life. Like, and I'm about the doing right now. I want to experience life. I want to go. I want to do, you know, that I love traveling. Like, and so the less money I spend on things, the more things I can do. And I have a lot of things. I have a lot of great things. And in this beauty content realm, when it's not new releases, trying this on, like giving you a review, which I love doing all those things, but it has to be things that I'm like genuinely interested in. What other things would you like to see? You know, I feel like my Shop My Stash videos actually do pretty well. I love doing them because it like gets me set up for the season. That's probably going to be what I'm filming tomorrow. But let me know what other content you would like to see. Do you want to see tips and tricks? Is there anything specific that you'd like to see? I would love to know your thoughts going forward. And you know, this does make me happy. It makes me happy to hang out with all of you, share my love. And so I need that enrichment as well. I just need to make sure it's not overtaking other things in life that need to happen. And, you know, like I said, I can't really go into a lot of what's going on just because it isn't my story to tell, but there's a lot piling on in all different sides. And you know that, you know, when that happens, it puts a lot of strain on a relationship too. And Jeremy and I are really trying to find time to be together and connect. And, you know, when we're both frazzled and our patience is worn thin, it's a lot. So it's like, life is precarious right now. you know, so we're trying to weather this out. Okay. Yeah, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out so that you can see. I think that this is absolutely lovely. I think it just looks like me, polished. It looks like I've had some sun. I drank a lot of water, which I have been doing a lot. Let me tell you, the Invisalign sort of makes me feel dry mouthed a lot. So I've probably been drinking twice as much water as usual. And since I'm not drinking coffee all day, I'm also drinking more water, spending a lot of money on sparkling water though, because I do love some bubbles. Anyway, so I just think that this is just like healthy radiance. I am here for it. You know what? I might just sign off on this now. I really wanted to kind of try to keep this video somewhat quick. I just really quickly wanted to honor all of the products that I've been using that have really just been making me feel confident quickly, and also just give you a little mini life update. So in case it seems like I'm having an off day, also I've got that stupid cold. So between the cold and all the things, and I was like, oh my God, I just need some sleep. It's been a lot. So I thank you all for riding down this path with me, and you know, we'll see where we come out on the other side. So if you do want to see the Lisa Eldridge Balm Embrace, I'll make sure to have it on the end screen here, and it'll also be down in the description box, along with links to all of the products that have been my ride or dies right now. I love you all so much. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting me. And again, stick around for that 5,000 subscriber giveaway. It's going to be coming soon. It's going to be coming. All right, lovelies, that's going to be it. I'll see you really soon.